Hi, I'm Dr. Achyuthan Eswar, the co-founder of nutritionscience.in and sampurnahara.com. Welcome back to another live video about lifestyle medicine. Today, we have a fantastic speaker with us, Dr. Prathima Kini, who is a lifestyle physician and a gynecologist. She specializes in helping you to heal diseases through a combination of modern medicine and emotional wellness. We're going to be hearing her speak, and she'll be joining us in just a minute. For those of you who are coming and watching this live series for the first time, nutritionscience.in is an online learning platform for plant-based nutrition, where you can learn everything you need to know about healthy eating and healthy living for yourself and your family. We have tons of courses, master classes, collections of hundreds of recipes, meal plans, and all the tools that you need to make healthy eating easier for yourself. And if you're looking for an even more convenient option, Sampurna Ahara is India's first whole food, plant-based social enterprise where we empower people to stay healthy with just the click of a button. We have whole food, plant-based meal deliveries, snacks, sweets, special items in Bangalore and all over India as well. So, and you'll find the links to both these websites in the description of this video. And now let's get started with our interview. Let me introduce our special guest for today, Dr. Prathima. Thank you so much, Dr. Prathima, for spending your time today with us. Very, very excited to have you on board with us. And I would love to hear from you about your journey, about what you do, the work that you do, what you specialize in, and what you'd like to speak about today on this live interview. So over to you, Doctor.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Achyuthan, for considering me for this esteemed position of being able to talk to you and the viewers. It is an honor and a privilege to be talking to all of you here. As Dr. Achyuthan mentioned, I am an allopathic doctor who finished my MBBS from Kasturba Medical College in Mangalore, and I graduated in 1992. After that, I did my pathology in Bangalore Medical College, and so I'm a pathologist. And I was continuing to practice my pathology and manage my house till about a couple of years ago. So my husband is a pediatrician, and I have two children, aged 28 and 25, and a son and a daughter. Um, Lifestyle medicine to me just came like that. I didn't have to really go to pursue it or to look for it or anything like that. I had a couple of friends who are vegetarians, and who used to talk a lot about trying to use only vegetarian food, and they would say that non-veg food is not good, and the dairy was not good. And I come from a hardcore non-vegetarian background where we used to have sometimes even 3 times a day of non-vegetarian, and my children literally grew up eating only non-vegetarian food. So when I used to hear this, I used to always think that it is just a myth. Maybe I really don't understand. It is their eating habits, it is their belief, and that's okay with them. But we were okay with each other's food habits. We didn't say that, oh, you shouldn't be eating this, you shouldn't be eating that. And we just went out. When we went out, that friend would eat the vegetarian food and I would eat the non-vegetarian food. Or to make things easy, we would just go to a vegetarian restaurant, or they would come home, we would have vegetarian food. It was okay. It's nothing that we said you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. And after some time, I found my friend who's Dr. Anita Reddy, who's a lifestyle medicine physician who's in the US, who's practicing in the US. She became a vegan. She totally stopped all animal products, and it was still continued, no saying that, oh, you shouldn't be eating this, this is not good, that is bad, or anything. She respected my views, I respected mine. And the other friend who I had, who is a gynecologist and who is a partner in our clinic, in Guru Kripa Clinic, Dr. Veena Acharya, she was always a vegetarian. She has not, had any non-veg all her life, and she was always a vegetarian, and someone who always looked for something, because she truly believed that everything is in the food, that everything is in what we eat and what we put into our body. But she still also didn't at any time try to make me, convert to a vegetarian. She respected my views and I respected hers. And there came a point when my daughter suddenly started saying that she wanted to go vegetarian, not for any reasons, but for the environmental reason. She said, I don't think eating non-vegetarian is good for our earth. It's good for our planet, and I don't see where we are heading by eating this much non-vegetarian. And so she started becoming a vegetarian just overnight. One day she just said she's going to become a vegetarian, and for 1 month I saw, and I was here cooking non-veg for one person, vegetarian for another person. And then I decided, okay, I will also start becoming a vegetarian. And that's how I started my vegetarian journey. The same year that I became a vegetarian, my friend Anita Reddy in the US, she took up her lifestyle medicine exams and she passed and became a lifestyle medicine physician. And that's when I started seeing that there is some science in it, that there is some truth in, the non-veg food that we are eating. And I started to give it more thoughts. And come 2020, 2020 is when she took the exam. 2021, I made a New Year resolution that I'm going to go whole food plant based. I was anyway a vegetarian, so it was just removing a few more things from the diet, and I would become a whole food plant based diet, eating person. So that's how I got into uh, this lifestyle medicine. And as the months went by, I got more and more interested. I started reading, and Dr. Veena also, who was with me, both of us were in tandem. We started discussing, we started seeing the cases. We saw that there is some science behind this, and the two of us together decided that, okay, this is it. We need to be studying this further. This must be a paradigm shift that is going to be happening in medical medicine that we are studying. And we decided to study and take the exams. So in 2021 December, the two of us took our lifestyle medicine exams, and both of us are now the diplomates of the International Board of Lifestyle Medicines. This is my journey from being a non-vegetarian to a full whole food plant-based diet person.
Wow, that must have been quite a journey, Dr. Prathima. You've gone the
It
entire
was.
spectrum.
It was. It wasn't easy to start with, basically because I'm the one who's doing the cooking and trying to, please everybody in the house. It wasn't easy to start with, but once my daughter made up her mind, I think it became easier that everybody else fell in line and they said yes, okay, once in a way we will try, but for me it has been a total shift. Maybe here and there seafood is sometimes a little tempting, so you take a piece or try to think, but otherwise it's whole food plant based with no oil and no sugar.
Fantastic. Hats off to your daughter. I'm so happy that she was able to be the first step of the change for you.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
so fantastic to hear that you have taken your diet in your hands and made that complete change, Dr. Prathima. May I ask, what was the first change that you made when you decided in 2020 that, okay, I have to go on a whole plant-based diet? How did you first get started? What was the first step you took?
Like I mentioned, the first thing I did was become a vegetarian. I didn't, totally cut down everything out of my food. I became a vegetarian. I was still using my milk products. I was still using oil in my cooking. I was frying and using butter and ghee. So the first step was to become the vegetarian. So it was about for 3 or 4 months that I continued like this with, trying. We use very little oil anyway, but there was oil in our diet, and we fried very few things. But I did continue to use the oil for my cooking. And during that time, I must also say that I got introduced to the Sharan way of cooking. I wanted to see what it is. That is because I've been cooking so much non-veg. There was very few vegetarian dishes that I was fond of, and we being the Mangaloreans, and where we cook mostly with coconut, it wasn't very favored in the house. They liked something more chatpata. They liked something with like chapatis and the North Indian kind of dishes. So I had to look for recipes, and most of the recipes used so much of butter and all that. So I stumbled across Sharan. I think even Veena and Anita influenced me to see that they have a few recipes. I went and looked up, attended classes from them, and that is what inspired me that it is possible to do cooking without oil or using any butter or ghee. And trying out their recipes, I could cook a variety of food. I tried out samosas, which I put in the oven. I made chapatis with different kind of atta. I never knew that amaranth can be used and you can make chapatis out of it. You can make chapatis with ragi. I made idlis with ragi. So trying out these two things, these different things, that kept people okay. What is there? What is new? What is vegetarian today? What is the new thing that you've tried? That kind of helped me start and to shift over to the vegetarian diet.
Fantastic. So you went step by step by step. You first turned
Yes,
vegetarian, then you started
yes,
exploring oil-free cooking, then
yes,
you went on a plant-based diet, then a whole food plant-based diet. It's
right,
fantastic. Along the way, you must have found, apart from the research that we read, apart from knowing that your risk for chronic diseases reduces, your lifespan improves, apart from that, you may have experienced some changes in yourself, improved energy levels, maybe some specific health benefits that you felt as well. So I'd love to hear about those, Dr. Prathima. When you first started changing your diet and lifestyle, all the way up until today, what are the health benefits that you personally experienced that motivate you to stick to a healthy
the first thing that everybody, the minute they saw me, when they got to know that I have changed my diet, they said your skin is looking so much better. That was the first comment everybody would say. And then I saw that my energy levels were better. I run, and I was able to run for longer distance without feeling tired. I could exercise better. I found that my motivation to do things had improved, and I was like better connected. I maybe because of the new cooking that was happening, there was more involvement, more happiness in doing all these changes.
Lovely. That must have felt really good, no? When you feel
Yeah,
better,
and
when
I
your
also
skin
want
glows.
to add, yeah, sorry, I also want to add that I had, I being in the lab, we regularly keep testing our blood tests. My cholesterol levels came down. They just came down from for a lot a long time. So that was another benefit I found changing the diet.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, sometimes it feels like all these health benefits are side effects of a healthy diet. Unlike drugs, it has mostly positive side effects. That's so
Yes,
fantastic. Yeah, thank you for sharing
yes.
that, Doctor. Now, circling back to when you first started thinking of going vegetarian or going on a plant-based diet, you mentioned that it was your daughter's transition to a vegan lifestyle that inspired you to start making the change. But you also mentioned that the rest of your family took some time to get on board. They were still eating a regular diet that you were also eating in the past. So,
Right,
how was your experience with that? Changing yourself is one aspect, but getting your
right.
family to change with you, that's a whole different ball game. So, I'd love to hear about your experience in that.
Well, I can say one thing. They had no choice, Dr. Achyuthan. One thing is either they ate what was on the table or they went hungry. Of course, and the pandemic helped because at that time you had to cook. at home, whatever you had to try out new things, or whatever new cooking you were doing, you could do it, and you had the time. That was the other plus thing about this pandemic. We were at home all the time. We had the liberty to try out new dishes. So, and ordering from outside, we were worried about how old the food is, whether we'll get the good food or not, whether it will come at all. So that was not a choice. So it added, as a benefit to us, that we started cooking. And I would still get those, why are we eating this all the time and all that. But seeing that there was so much variety that we could cook, plants, there are so many vegetables that are there, and so many different flavors that we can add, that each day trying out a new dish itself was an experiment. And they kind of came on board, but once in a way they would say, hey, no, no vegetarian today, which I was okay with. There was nothing that was forced upon them. They were okay with trying it. We made it, maybe twice a week we'll have, and then finally it came down to once a week. Now it has kind of stopped. We don't I have stopped cooking non-vegetarian totally at home. And if at all we are having some guests, or somebody comes, so they just feel like having, we order in some food or some seafood. I still do cook, but it is very, very occasional. In this year and a half, maybe twice I have done it. So it's difficult to totally cut off, because we're so used to it. And the taste is there no matter what. You think that there are replacements to the meat, there is still no. You try out the soya, you try out the mince of the soya and all that. And I've even tried out some of the mock meat kind of, and the tempeh and all that. It doesn't feel the same. It's not like, either you have it or you don't have it at all. So that's what was the final decision that was taken at home. So we said, fine, we'll just go vegetarian. That helped us. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So I
Happy to
still
hear
have
that.
my relatives, when they come, oh, you're not going to have any non-veg at home. Should I? They think, should I or shouldn't I come? I say, it's okay. If you want, we'll order in. I won't be cooking. So that's the only thing that I say. But they are okay. They are all, many are on board with it. I didn't find it so difficult to convince them that, this is the way I eat. Y'all are most welcome to eat the way you want. I mean, it's something what I told about how Dr. Veena and Dr. Anita, they never kind of forced the vegetarian or the whole food plant based on you. They just went with the flow. And it's when you start realizing by yourself that there is so much advantage in changing the diet, that this plant based diet is so much more useful and helpful for our health, then automatically you do it. And when it comes from you, it there is no stopping you. Then you just keep going.
Fantastic. So good to hear that not only were you able to change your diet, but you also inspired your family in a gentle way to change. So sometimes when you try to force someone to do something, they're not going to do it. They're going to do the opposite of that, in fact, most of the time.
Correct.
But it's only when they look at what you're doing every day, all day, day, day out, then over time they get inspired and say, okay, let me also try that. What are you eating? I
Right.
tell my patients that's the fastest way to inspire your family to get on a
Right.
healthier diet as well. You know.
Right.
So, Dr. Prathima, today you're in a space where you are eating whole food plant based yourself. Your entire family is eating mostly whole food plant based every day. And I would like to hear your experience on how difficult it is for you today to cook whole food plant based for your family. Because this is something that most people feel is new to them. They feel that, oh, this is going to be so difficult. This is going to be one of those diets where I sit and measure everything. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I'm doing it wrong. What do I cook every day? I'm used to eating one type of food. Should I ditch all my favorite foods and subsist on salads from today onwards? People have all these doubts and fears in their mind. So, what is your experience? How difficult is it to cook and eat whole food plant based for your entire family on a daily basis?
So uh, when we started, like I said, I started with all the exotic dishes. Exotic in the sense, the things which I had to look up on the book. and see the recipe, see the ingredients, have the ingredients ready, and every now and then, keep looking at the tab. Oh, okay, okay, this is to be put, that is to be put. And I used to look at videos and then cooking. But on an everyday basis, it is difficult to be all the time being, cooking only exotic things and different dishes and new dishes. So I decided that we need to do, if we have to do this as an everyday a diet, then I'll have to be eating what I normally eat. So I just took out the dairy and I just took out the oil from my cooking and the sugar. So in a usual cooking, like supposing I'm doing rice and dal and a palya and a salad, I just didn't do any oil tadka for my dal. I would just do the dal as I was doing. I would put the tadka, but I just removed off the oil. And if I was doing a palya also, if it required oil or ghee or butter, I just didn't do. And it was so easy because you just put the mustard and the thing, it starts, with the oil in the mustard itself, it starts spluttering. Then you see that there is no need. And then you go and cook it and keep it and make the family eat. They won't even make out that there is no oil or anything in it. Maybe the flavor of the ghee sometimes you miss, but other than that you would never make out. So I said whatever is the ordinary cooking that we are doing, I'll just take out. So nothing special, nothing that, everyday cooking we are not doing, the pulavs or the curries, the rich ones and all that. So, like the navratna kurma and all the usual things. So, and the ACLM website helped us with the plating, where we say that, quarter of your plate is going to be rice, quarter of your plate is going to be the dal or the pulses or whatever, and the other half is going to be just fruits and vegetables. Fortunately, in my family, everybody loves fruits, and that is something that we've been including in our diet right from the beginning. More than the vegetables, more than the rice, or more than the non-veg, even our fruits were really plenty, and we eat all kinds of fruits. I think that is what has kept us in good state all these years, because every fruit under the sun, I would say, I would buy fruits by the baskets, and people would think I'm taking it to sell, but that is how much fruits we used to be eating. So it became, it wasn't so difficult. So once in a way, I would try out a new thing. Then it would be the pakka whole food plant based diet. And I must say, Dr. Achyuthan, I am really enamored by the book that you made. After I got introduced to Sampurna Ahara, I downloaded the whole book and I have tried out a lot of recipes, and they are really delicious. In fact, for my,
Fantastic.
when I was doing my exam, I wouldn't have time to, be cooking and to be studying and then going to, do my work also. A whole 15 days I ordered food from Sampurna, and all of us enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having, the facility where we could, enjoy your food, and also, it served our purpose. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your kind words, Dr. Prathima. I'm so happy to hear that you enjoyed the food. We've talked about this before, but so happy every time you say. And it's so true that people look for all of these exotic recipes to try out when they first shift to a plant-based diet. But the most critical thing is what you eat every day. It's not about that one fancy dish you make once a month. It's what you're eating for the remaining 29 days a month, right?
Right,
And the
right.
plate method is so beautiful. It's so easy to see and follow as well. In fact, I'd like to share it here. It's a resource that you mentioned. I want to uh, share my screen. Let's see if I can get it. Yes, here it is.
Yes.
So, yes, so this is what Dr. Pratima was talking about. This is the ACLM whole food plant-based plate, especially for children, tweens, and teens. And this is where people get most confused, right? For adults, okay, it's a little easier to imagine. But for children, they're especially scared of, okay, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do? So here it is. Here's what you can do. Would you like to share about this, Dr. Pratima? Would you like to explain it for everyone who's watching?
Yeah, so this is what we say as my plate, as how we are supposed to be eating every day. And so if we take a plate and we divide it into four quadrants, here it's been divided into three parts. So one quadrant is just with these cereals, like you can, it can be the rice, it can be the bread, it can be anything like millets, or the chapatis that we have, or the bread that we have, or the rice, anything. Only thing that we look for here is it is whole. Like in the rice also, we look for the brown rice, which is the rice with the husk and the kernel that is there outside. Or we use the whole wheat, or we use the whole millet. And the millet can be in anything. It can be either you're making chapatis out of it, or you're making dosas out of it, or whether it is idlis that we are making out of it, or we can just cook it as it is. You can make it as upma, a millet upma, or you can make millet bisibelebath, whatever. So whatever grain that you want to use. The other grain that I have to mention is the oats. Oats is also something that we can include in this, and this is the quarter plate that is to be filled with every meal that we are eating. The other quarter is the pulses, like the dals we eat, or any of the legumes. There are so many kalus that we say in Kannada, which we can cook. We can have a variety. Like Dr. Kaushik says, there are probably so many pulses that are available in India. They must be, much more than the stars that are there in the galaxy. So there are different, and the best part is we can choose one every meal if required. But once every day that we use, we can use the different types of pulses, because these are the ones which are giving you the protein in the vegetarian diet. Not only the pulses, we have the nuts and the seeds that are also giving the fat, and they're giving the protein, and they give us the trace elements that we require, like zinc and magnesium, and the calcium also. So all these things, of important notice here, the small square that we are seeing is the tofu that we are seeing, that, and that is made out of soya. In world over, they feed the animals the soya, and then we eat the animals. Instead, we can eat the soya ourselves. We can cook soya. We can put the soya in the in our all our dals and our vegetables. We can make soya powder. We can use it for our chapatis, and put it in all our dishes. We can make soya milk. So in place of the cow milk that we are using, we can use soya milk. We can make tofu out of it, and in place of paneer, we can use this tofu. And people who feel that they need that, the chewy taste that the non-veg gives, we can have what we call as tempeh. This is the least. It is also processed, but the least processed of the soya things. So these are the things where we can get our protein from. Adding to this, we should also add what we call as the green leafy vegetables. That is when we are talking about the next quarter. So here we include the green leafy vegetables and all the vegetables. We say eat the rainbow, all the colors that are there. We have the cabbage, we have the carrot, we have the beetroot, we have the potato, we have the cauliflower, we have broccoli, name it. There are so many different vegetables that we can have, and every color that you can eat. And to this, add the fruits. The number of fruits that are there are so many. The most important thing about this whole food that we are seeing here is what we call as the fiber. And fiber is available only in plant food and not in animal food at all. So this fiber is very important in our guts. This is what is going to be feeding our microbiome. And microbiome is the new science that we are all learning now, that the microbiomes, these are the organisms that are residing in our gut. They also are available in our respiratory tract, on our skin, on our hair, and all that. But the most important ones are there, which are in our gut, and they feed on this fiber. This fiber is not digested by us. These microorganisms feed on this fiber, and they release what we call as the short chain fatty acids. And these short chain fatty acids have so many good effects in our body. So that is another reason why we insist on having a whole food plant-based diet. And they have put water instead of any juice, no fruit juices, eat the whole fruit, like we say, the whole thing. So, and no milk, because there are so many deleterious effects that we're seeing by drinking the cow's milk. So this is what we call as, and the only thing, if at all, in this whole food plant-based thing is, if we want to kind of, we try to reduce the salt, because salt is bad for our kidneys, for our the blood pressure, and for our body as such. So instead, flavor it more with spices, and we have so many different spices that are available in India. Put so many herbs in it, that flavoring itself is enough, you know that you don't need that much salt to flavor your food. So, and the only thing that we probably will have to supplement ourselves is probably vitamin B12. Again, vitamin B12 is not produced by animals or by plants. It is produced by bacteria. But because of the hygiene that we are following these days, earlier we would just take something from the plant, from the root, and we'll be eating. You'll be getting the bacteria, and they will be producing. But now we have all our water, which is being sterilized and sanitized, and all pesticides are there in the plants. We have to supplement ourselves with vitamin B12, and of course with vitamin D, because we don't expose ourselves too much to the sun these days. So these are the two supplements. But this thing, the other advantage of eating this kind of food is, you don't have to count how much am I eating. It doesn't matter, because you're not eating the unwanted things. All of this your body is going to use, and if it doesn't want, it is just going to throw. So there's no deleterious effect in eating more of this. It is only beneficial for us. So this is the kind of diet we are following these days. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Doctor. That was a really detailed explanation. I'm sure it's very useful for so many people watching this video. So you have told us now in detail about the whole food plant-based diet, about what ACLM recommends, about drinking water, about green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, about pulses, nuts and seeds, whole grains, fruits. And you also told us about supplementing vitamin D and vitamin B12, which are not made by plants but got from nature. So either if you live in a forest, great. Otherwise, you can supplement them by living in the city. Okay. And there is also one more aspect to your practice, right, in your clinic. Apart from simply a whole food plant-based diet, you make a truly holistic lifestyle program. You bring in a fantastic aspect of emotional health. Now, this is very different from what most doctors would practice. Whether it's allopathy doctors, or homeopathy, or Unani, or Siddha, yes, they will say, maybe go to yoga class and meditate, or maybe visit a psychologist if you feel that you may have depression or anxiety. But you take it one step further and focus on the patient's emotional health. Could you tell us a little more about this, please?
Yeah. I mean, I feel this is something that is dear to me. Everybody has an emotional aspect to their life, and in lifestyle medicine, one of the pillars is about stress and what we call as social connectedness. And both of these two things are related to our mental disorder. And many times people will separate the physical disorder from the mental disorder. They think that, there are two different aspects, but both these exist in one person only. So what happens to you physically will affect your mind, and what is happening in your mind is going to affect you physically. That is something that is always there, and we need to be aware of it. So emotional thing, I would look at it from two aspects. One thing is, our thoughts are what create our emotions, and our emotions are what creates our behavior, and this behavior again will go and affect our thoughts. So you can see that this is a vicious cycle, and if our thoughts are not okay, then our feelings are not okay, and if our feelings are not okay, the way we behave is not okay. So then this is going to go on as a vicious cycle. So one thing we can start off with is what we call with the therapy. We need to make people reframe what their thinking is. And there are a lot of distorted thinking that is happening, and because of which, they feel depressed, or they feel anxious, and that causes their behavior. They will want to be, they'll either be angry, or they will be wanting to eat unnecessarily, or they will be wanting to drink, or they get into this substance abuses. So that is one aspect of the emotional thing that we look about. The other thing is about stress. Now, stress is there everywhere, and it doesn't spare anybody, whether you're a male or a female, you're old, you're young, a child, you're poor, you're rich, it doesn't matter. Stress is there in everybody's life. Now, what is this stress? Stress is required, like, for me to be talking like this, it just has in me that I need to be talking something, or to be conducting something, to be writing an exam. That stress is required because that prepares you to go and write the exam. So if we take it back to the animal kingdom, or when mankind started, this stress was basically there for us to prepare ourselves for any danger that is lurking. And earlier, what was the danger? That some animal is going to attack you. So that was the main stress. So you used to always be alert when you were going anywhere, doing anything, to see if there is some animal thing. So what is the first thing? If you see an animal coming towards you, you have to run. So if you have to run, you need the glucose in your blood pumped up. So what happens? Your glucose in your blood goes up, your blood pressure goes up, so that there is enough blood that is going into your heart and into your muscle, and the liver will start producing enough glucose so that you can run. There'll be enough, there'll be insulin resistance, so the others, the insulin is not going to be acting, it is going to just send all the glucose into the blood and into to be used up. So, and your other effects, like if the other bodily effects, like your digestion, like your sexual activity, and your immune system, all these are going to be affected, but this is for a short period of time. Once the danger goes away, everything comes back to normal, and then homeostasis is again maintained. Now, in our modern day life, it is not the animal that we are worried about. We are worried about, oh, the maid hasn't come. Oh, this thing is late. My project is on time. My child has to go be sent to school. I need to be doing this. I need to be going there. I need to be going here. So, and these are all small micro stresses which are there throughout our life and throughout our day. And if this kind of stress is going to be constantly there, you can see that this response of the body is always there. So, your blood pressure is high, so your blood pressure constantly remains high, it leads to hypertension. Your sugar level has gone up because, that is what is the body's response to this stress that is there. So, what happens? You develop diabetes. Your digestion is not okay because that has taken a beating. So you'll have bloating, you'll have gaseousness, you'll have some kind of irritable bowel, and you'll develop obesity because the food that you're eating is different. And then there will be infertility because that has taken a beating. And then another thing that happens when we have this stress response is our clotting mechanisms. The blood clots faster. Now, this in an animal, when or in when we are going to be bitten, when we think that we are going to be bitten by an animal, we want to reduce the amount of blood that is being lost from our body. So, when an animal bites us, we increase the clotting capacity of the body so that we don't lose much blood and we have it thing. But if this stress response is going to go, our clotting mechanism is going to be on the rise, which means that we are more prone for blood clots that are being formed in the arteries, and we can have heart attacks and strokes because of this. And our immunity takes a beating because the amount of the kind of response that we are having to this stress is different. So we are more prone for autoimmune disorders, we are more prone for arthritic disorders, we are more prone for asthma. So this is the main the basis for the stress and how it becomes when it becomes permanent. So in lifestyle medicine, we are always looking at what is the cause and not trying to treat the symptom. So I feel that we need to focus on what is it that is causing this stress in people. And if this can be, tackled, then the other things fall into place. So my main thing is to look. Earlier, we used to spend a lot of time talking to patients, getting to know about their family, getting to know, the whole family would be your patients. So you would know everything about them. You would also be like a counselor. The doctor would be like a counselor, telling them, listening to them, trying to help them out to, sort out their issues, whether it is between, the father and the mother, or between the son and the father, or between the siblings, or with the grandparents, or with any relatives. It used to help. So, the stress would come down and lot of healing would happen just by talking. That we see is lacking these days, because one thing is the patient load is high, and it's not possible to be spending so much time with every patient. So that is why I feel that lifestyle medicine is here to create a change, because we provide that kind of time that is required to interact with patients. The other thing that I would like to talk about in emotional well-being is the new thinking that has been introduced by Dr. Martin Seligman, who said that he has given a small acronym called PERMA. So every time we talked about mental disorders, we always thought about it from a negative stance. We looked at it from a negative sense. Something is not okay. So he decided to think, let's look at things positively. What is it that is good? So he introduced this term called PERMA, which is an acronym for P stands for positive psychology, E stands for engagement, R stands for relationships, M stands for meaning to life, and A stands for achievement. So, I mean, if there is time, I can just elaborate a little on this PERMA, Dr. Achyuthan. Is that okay? Yes. Yeah. So this is what we're talking about. So positive emotion. When we think about things positively, when there is happiness in life, there is well-being, because that is what, the more you're happy, the more well-being you are. So they've found that people who are happy live longer also, and they have lesser untoward events that happen in their lives. And the best way to practice positive emotion is to have gratitude, to be thankful for what you have, to do what is there, what you can do with what you have. And that is a best way to have a feeling of well-being, to have compassion, to compliment people, to show that this is what is okay as to what is not okay. The second one is engagement, is to involve ourselves in something that really is very, something that we can really focus on, what we call as the flow. I mean, we do that to such an extent that we get lost. We just don't realize how the time has gone by. So it could be doing, a crossword, or, be doing Sudoku or something like that, something that you totally engages yourself, and something that you progress. It's not that you keep doing the same thing, but you step by step, you keep improving on it. So that is what we call as engagement, and it is really, really, what shall I say? It is very satisfying to the mind and to the body. R is about positive, the relationships. How many of us actually, have connections with our relatives like we used to before. Even now, if we have to, we have to take an appointment, find out if somebody is free. And it's not about just, liking somebody's picture or commenting something on social media. That is not the kind of relationship. This actual talking, you know this is what was missing during the pandemic, the actual connection that, we used to actually meet people, touch people, talk to people face to face. This is what was, missing, and it is really, really important to maintain this relationship. And there was a study which was conducted by the Harvard study, which is the longest. It's conduct, it's still ongoing for the past 80 years. They took up around 700 odd men. The thing is, Harvard had only men at that time when they started the study in 1930s. So they found out that the most important thing that kept people going, kept people happy, was the relationship, the social connectedness that was there. People who had, a good relationship with their wives, with their spouse at the age of 50, were the ones who were the happiest at 80. So this is, something that is really important, and we need to focus on this, which is becoming narrower and narrower. We need to have this social connectedness and the relationship. So, just pick up somebody that you haven't spoken to in a long time, just pick the phone and talk to them and connect back with them. M in the PERMA model stands for meaning. Meaning to life. We have all heard of ikigai, we've all heard of having a purpose. We may be doing something in our life for our livelihood, but the actual thing is finding that meaning, finding something that is you're passionate about, something that you love to do, and something that is also going to be earning some money for you. And this is something that is going to help the world. It could be a simple thing as, just getting up and helping your neighbor with the groceries. Just make it as a thing that, okay, every Thursday I'm going to be doing something different, help somebody. So this will give you that personal satisfaction, and it will help the other person also. They will be thankful to you, you will feel happy. So it is a win-win situation over here. And lastly, accomplishments. No matter what, there are always accomplishments. No matter how you feel that I have done nothing, you actually go back the whole day and see there will be something that you would have accomplished, something that you would have done. Maybe, you filled a bottle of water for your wife. Maybe you were able to chop something. Maybe you were able to take the car out. Any small thing, that is an accomplishment. They could be big things that, you become so successful, that you made so much money, that you've been able to organize something. Those are bigger accomplishments, but they come once in a way. But these small accomplishments are everyday things. And this model, they say, is what helps you, really connect and have a good meaningful relationship and meaningful life. And that adds to your well-being. And being well is everything, being physically well and being mentally well also. Last thing I want to add among this relationship is we have to have a relationship with ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves, our health. We need to love ourselves. We need to show compassion to ourselves. Most of the time, we miss out on this. And this is something that we really need to reiterate on, because we keep blaming ourselves for whatever happened. Oh, it is my fault. Oh, it is this, it is that. But many times, just being a little kind to yourself will help you go in a long way. You can't pour from an empty cup. So if you are filled with love for yourself, you have the love, you can spread the love among others. I feel this goes a long way in, helping people overcome their disorders, helping people change their behaviors, helping people develop better behaviors, better way of doing things, and helps them lead a better life. So this is the PERMA model that I was talking about. Thank you for
Well,
bringing in those uh, snapshots,
oh,
and
absolutely.
it's helpful.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. I love the way that they have changed the approach to mental health and emotional well-being, Dr. Prathima, from thinking about what disease do I have to
Yeah,
what all do I have positive about, today? What am I doing positive today in all of those five different dimensions? I think that's
right,
something that really helps to make this long term, no? Instead of saying, okay, this is my diagnosis. To overcome this diagnosis, I need to take treatment for this many months. Instead of that, when you look at it as something positive, when you move from place of fear to a place of joy, like Dr. D. Nordish likes to say, you
right,
change your perspective. It becomes for lifetime rather than just being your treatment for a short term. I think that's
right.
that's the whole basis of lifestyle medicine, and you said it so beautifully. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Dr.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Prathima, you have spent so long with us and shared so much of valuable insight based on, I'm sure, tons and tons of research on models that people can follow, on the ACLM plate they can eat at home, PERMA model they can use to improve their emotional well-being. Um, could you please tell us about the programs that you offer, the consultations that you offer, where people can come and take guidance from you? What kind of programs are they, and who would it be beneficial for?
We are conducting a one-on-one session presently. Dr. Veena and I are partners in this, and we plan to start, group therapies where we can have people with a particular, disorder or with different disorders, because it's not like there is a different cause. We've seen that the main cause for everything is chronic inflammation for all most of these non-communicable disorders. So we can kind of group it all together and have a group therapy. So it is in the making. We are trying to organize this. Presently, though, we are only doing a one-on-one consultation, and I can put in the number and the address of the clinic, so if they can fix up an appointment anytime, and both of us are available, and you can consult with us. So we can do this as a one-on-one session presently.
Great, great, fantastic. I think when you do one-on-one sessions, it gives you a lot of insight into every single aspect of that person's health, that person's
Yes,
well-being, and you can
yes,
really guide them. It's a fantastic tool to get you to completely handhold them to the path of complete health. The problem doctors face is you don't get time if you're in the hospital. Then
yes,
you get just
yes.
15 minutes with a patient. What can you say in
Right,
that time?
right,
But
right.
yeah, it's so nice that you're taking longer to do detailed consultations and one-on-one programs with people. So if you're watching this video and you're interested in booking an appointment with Dr. Prathima, you will find the details of a clinic, the phone number, and the contact details in the description of this video. So just scroll down, you can pick up the number from there, you can give them a call, fix an appointment for yourself. Doctor, do you also do online appointments or is it in person right now?
Presently, it's only in person. I'm yet to get used to this. Like, I am more of a person who likes to, be face to face. So presently, we are doing only face to face. Online is yet to
Great.
start. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. So you heard Dr. Prathima. She is available to meet you, to guide you, to help you on your journey towards a better optimal health and well-being. Feel free to scroll down to the description of this video. You can get the number of a clinic, of Guru Kripa Clinic. They also have a website, gurukripaclinic.com. You can go to the website and get the details there as well. And if you have any questions for Dr. Prathima, anything you'd like to ask her, you can put it in the comment section of this video. We would love to reach out to her with the questions and get back to you with the answers. You can also get in touch with her directly on her website as well. Is there anything else you would like to share, Dr. Prathima, in today's video? That is something that I missed asking you about, or some additional information you'd like to share with everyone, or just a sum up of the entire talk?
I can only say that lifestyle medicine is here to stay, to change the paradigm, the way medicine was and is going to be. The first change we saw was when the antibiotics were introduced, how it revolutionized treatment, because the main thing that time was about infections and how do we deal with infections. most of the death rates were in deaths that were occurring were because of infections. And when the antibiotics came in, they kind of changed the whole scene about how we approach and treat diseases. Unfortunately, the same thing has been continuing all these years, and we're applying the same kind of therapeutic approach that was there for the infection model to the other disorders that we are seeing. But I honestly feel that this is the time where things are going to change. It's not just going to be about, be writing a prescription and putting a bandage over something that is there. We need to actually look into the root cause, treat that probably, and then get rid of whatever disorders that is there. This is how medicine is going to change from now on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Prathima, for your time. It's been lovely speaking with you. And I've had a lovely time. I'm sure those of you watching this video, you enjoyed it equally well. And I'm looking forward to doing another one with you sometime, perhaps, where we can go into more detail about the Prisma model, about your consultations, about how you guide patients, and perhaps listen to some inspiring stories that you'd like to share as well. I will get in touch with you and look forward to having you back with us. Yeah, thank you so much once again for spending time here. So,
Thank you, Dr. Achyuthan. It has been an honor, and thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you so much.
absolutely. Thank you so much once again. And thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I hope you found it useful and I hope you found it inspiring. I hope you took something useful back from this video to implement in your daily life starting today to achieve your optimal health and longevity and wellness and lifespan and so many wonderful things. I'd like to also share with you how you can get more information about a whole food plant-based diet and learn about it at home and how you can take support in making the change right from the comfort of your home itself. Now, this is the website of our nutritionscience.in. Yes, this is nutritionscience.in. You can go to the website and you can check out. Just the homepage itself is a treasure trove of information about a plant-based diet. So you have details of what it is, what are the health benefits of a plant-based diet, about the master classes that we offer, reviews by people who have attended it. What is the difference between vegan diets and plant-based diets? What is veganism? Where did whole food plant-based diets come from? Why do people do it? What can you eat? What can't you eat? How do you start it? So a whole ton of information just on the homepage. You can just go through it, read it right here. And we have a bunch of courses. We have a plant-based diet masterclass that you can check out. There's a kickstart that's free of cost. There's a masterclass that's a guided program that helps you to look at disease prevention, disease reversal, cooking, and lots of other stuff. We also have a website called Sampurna Ahara. For those of you who haven't checked it out, this is the website where we have. So this is a mango and cashew cake for someone special. It's one of the most delicious cakes we've ever made, which we have during the summer 2022. And we have meal subscriptions that are whole food plant based. You can even gift a meal to your loved ones, get them started on a healthy diet. There are sweets like the flaxseed B12 blender, which is fortified with vitamin B12, one of the vitamins you don't get in food. You can book consultations with us. They have condiments, there are breakfast jars, there are festival specials, there are breads and cakes and cookies, there are healthy snacks without oil, and there's even a meal subscription service and cakes and cookies you can get. So absolutely fantastic range of products that can help you and your family to live a longer, healthier lifestyle just by eating delicious food every day. That's the dream, right? I hope you enjoy these tools. I hope you find them useful. If you found this video useful, go ahead and click the like button below. If there's someone that you feel may be benefiting from it, please share this video with them. And don't forget to remember to subscribe to our channel so that you can get a notification by clicking the bell icon when we release our next live video tomorrow. I'll see you then. I hope you have a great day. Thank you once again for joining us. Be blessed.